Hello, I'm Jane from Calm Therapy and welcome to Conversations with Calm Therapy. I'm wishing you all good health during this pandemic. We're coming out of lockdown now. I think we're in week 13 and shops are starting to open. So we are beginning to see glimpses of our new way of life. So, Conversations with Calm Therapy. It's a project where I interview a series of complementary therapists and business owners during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is to create connection amongst business advisors and also offers you, the viewers, on tips on how to cope with sudden changes, how to manage your fear that arises through uncertainty, and how to move forward through that fear. I also ask each guest any useful rituals or activities we can add to our daily routines during our time at home or new way of life. So my guest today is Mel Larsen. Mel is the Dream Project Coach, and Mel helps solopreneurs, freelancers, and small businesses to finally get those big results. So hello, Mel, and welcome.
Hello, Jane. Thank you.
So could you just introduce yourself, give a brief background about yourself and what you're doing now?
I will. Thank you, Jane. I must say it's a real pleasure to be here on your, can I call it your show?
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
fantastic. I think it's such a great idea. So as you said, I'm the Dream Project Coach and I work with freelancers and entrepreneurs. And as you said, to help them finally get those big results. And I'll say briefly what those results are. So they're in three areas. And I like to use the three Ps. So the first one is people. Everyone wants clients, so I help people get their dream clients. The second P is purse. Everyone wants to have more money, good income for what they do, and I help people increase their income, usually doubling their income or more. And the third one, P, is personal contentment, personal happiness, which comes from doing what you love. So that's what I do in brief.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Very clear and concise. It sounds amazing. Thank you, Mel. So I ask my guests the same three questions, and I hope that you answer from your area of expertise. So the first question is, we are going through unprecedented times of sudden change. How might we maintain a positive outlook and a feeling of connection whilst we're in this period of isolation?
Great question. I think it's a question that has been on a lot of people's minds for the last few weeks. So I did actually create an online workshop to help people address that question you just asked. And I ran it 6 times. And one of the core things that we looked at on that workshop was, first of all, to really choose powerfully what it is you want to spend your time doing. Because we're in a bit of for some people it's like a hiatus, for other people it's a time of great opportunity. You know, it's different things to different people. So one of the questions I asked people was, do you want to pause right now or do you want to push ahead? So if you're pausing, for some people it's like, I'm so tired from working all the time, traveling, I've finally got some time to just stop and pause and rest and recover. Or to pause and develop things, like finally I've got, bearing in mind that I work with freelancers and entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small businesses, there's always something you need to do, so now people are like, I won't look for more clients, but I'm going to spend the time reading, developing, training myself. So it's a kind of pause, like a learning pause, if you like, or a development pause. And then there are other people who are looking around thinking there are new needs out there that I can see, or I can see, like you, for example, Jane, I can see what you're doing is really vital for people right now. People really need to stay calm and de-stress. So for some people, like you and me, there's an enormous amount of opportunity out there. And it makes sense to push ahead and perhaps do even more promotion and let people know, look, I can help you through this time, which is something I did with that workshop. I'm now about to deliver that workshop for quite a large institution, which is really great because they're going to sell it for me and I just get to deliver it. So if you decide you're going to push ahead, the other thing that I think is worth thinking about is reconnecting with your purpose. Like, why am I here? What do I love to do? How do I serve others? What feels like the right thing for me to do in this world, if you like, through my business or through whatever it is I'm doing in life. And when you've reconnected with that purpose, to have some kind of a project. So typically a project with businesses is they want to get more clients, or they want to launch a new product, or they want to work on some area of what they're doing, like they want to be more confident and do public speaking for the first time. Lots of people are doing that, doing stuff like this, launching little mini programs or interviewing people, etc., etc. So find something to keep you occupied. And then my third tip around this is to stay connected to other people, because it's quite easy, I think, if you work at home, and if you're anything like me, I'm quite happy being at home, and I'm living with my husband, I'm not on my own, happy gardening, getting on with my work. And I can forget to connect. I connect with my clients all the time, but just to connect with people who aren't anything to do with work, people who light you up, who make you feel happy, energized, people who are positive. And also try having phone calls instead of Zoom calls. Zoom can be so tiring. I'm on Zoom a lot, I'm sure you are as well. And sometimes I've been experimenting with this. It's just nice to pick up the phone and just listen. So you can kind of close your eyes, or you can sit in the garden. And I find that to be, excuse me, a much calmer, less kind of on way to be.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's brilliant. The phone thing, yeah, it's quite a luxury to be on the phone these days instead of visual, and it's quite intense on Zoom, isn't it? So you can a bit more. Thank you, Mel. That's fantastic. So my second question is, it's known that fear can have a negative impact on the body. How might people release themselves from this fear to reduce mental and physical health issues, and how might they move forward through this? Even in business sense, how can they move forward?
Thank you. Another really good question. Definitely a question of our time. First thing I want to say is it's normal, I think, to feel afraid of something that we don't fully understand, or something that's unpredictable or potentially harmful, like COVID-19. I mean, it's just, no one was ready for it. Maybe some scientists were, but most of us ordinary people weren't expecting it. And my work is different to yours. I'm working with the fear that comes up for people around business. Well, actually, it's probably not that different to what you do, but my modality is different. I'm, coaching them through a lot of business strategy and mindset stuff. And the fear that I'm dealing with that comes up with my clients is things like, will I get any clients? Especially, that's always there, but especially now, people are like, oh, situations change, market's changing, can I still be in business? Will I get enough clients? Will I earn enough money? So those things have always been around, but they're kind of exacerbated by the situation right now. And then there's also kind of the opposite problems, which are really interesting as well. For a lot of people, it's, what if I'm really successful? What does success mean? They're afraid of success. It might be, what if people hate me because I'm now wealthy? Or, what if people hate me because I'm posting on LinkedIn every day and they just think, who the hell do you think you are? So people have all those kind of fears as well. So I work with the fear that comes up for people in business, and a lot of fear is reacting to what you think is about to happen or what might happen in the future. So it's really interesting that a lot of the time fear isn't actually what's about happening right now. And it's quite a complex answer, probably the same for you, to describe exactly how I take people through their fears. But the kind of short answer is, first of all, to get information and understand it. Look at what you can do about what you're afraid of and accept what you can't do about it. So right now, a lot of us are really having to deal with getting comfortable with uncertainty, because nothing's going to change that. I'm working with so many individuals and also some quite large organisations who are literally saying, we can't really plan because we just don't know what's coming next. We can plan, a little bit for the short term. And a lot of people aren't used to that uncertainty. And one of my tips, I guess, is to bring your fear out into the open and really examine it and name it. Because often we haven't really looked at some of our deeper fears since childhood. And so they continue to haunt us, either as like vague feelings or very vivid, wild kind of fantasies about what's going to go wrong. And we forget that now we're adults, we can actually, excuse me, face them. I'm going to have a sip. And actually, this is the perfect mug for this interview.
Brilliant.
Oh. Excuse me, I don't know. My husband's doing some DIY and I think there's some dust in the air. So those fears can, arise as I said, feelings or kind of fantasies. And as an adult, we have the opportunity to pause and face those fears, like name them, discuss them, and often see that they're like the monsters from children's stories. They're not real. They're not as big and scary as we think. And of course, I will temper that with COVID-19 is actually scary. It is something that people die from. I'm not making light of it. But at the same time, we don't have to be living in fear 24/7. Most of the time we're just in our homes, pottering about, living our lives. If we're working in a hospital or we're a key worker, yes, I can imagine there are some fears. There's some very legitimate fears. And I can only salute and acknowledge the people that get out there every day and put themselves on the front line. I'm not making light of that. For an awful lot of the people I deal with, they're not dealing with that. They're working from home and they're worried about having enough money, how are they going to support their clients, how are they going to stay positive? And those things are actually manageable.
Brilliant, yes. It makes it just so much more succinct, doesn't it? Kind of recalibrating and just coming into the now, isn't it? Because everything's fine at this moment, and just helping people to come back into that space and then move forward again in that calmer state. And you can find out the possibilities from there, can't you?
Yeah. Oh, beautifully put, Jane. Yeah.
Thank you. So question 3 I have here is, based on your experiences, can you suggest any useful rituals or activities that we can add to our routines to support us during our new way of life?
Yes, they're very simple, and I look to my own life here because everyone's different. Everyone has a different sense of what peace, calm means for them. For me, the things I do that help me stay centered and balanced are I do 5 minutes of yoga every day. It's non-negotiable. Unless I'm very sick, I do it every single day. 5 minutes isn't very long, so it's kind of easy to do. And then I also go running. I went for a run this morning, and it's where I get my best business ideas. I work out solutions to problems. I say my affirmations while I'm running. Goodness knows what anyone thinks who's walking past me. And the other thing I do is program in regular social media breaks. So I'll go and sit in the garden and just stare into space, usually after I've had lunch, try and have lunch in the garden if it's a nice day, and then just sit and stare into space, listen to the birds. My other favourite thing to do is have a hot bath and read a book. And those things are really simple, but I try and factor them in every day or every other day. The yoga happens every day, but the other things, every other day. They just help me to, I think you use the term recenter, just like get back to that kind of calm space.
Yeah, and it's the little things. It might seem like little things, but they have quite a big effect on you, just by taking notice of time in the garden and time for yourself. It's really good. Thank you, Mel.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for your answers. And how can we find out more about you? What if someone wants to get in touch for more support from you? Do you have a website? Anything else going on?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. So my website is dreamprojectcoach.com. dreamprojectcoach.com, and all my social stuff is on there. So if you go there, you can, my blogs are there, my social buttons are there.
Great, thank you. Well, thank you so much for taking part in this project. I shall be posting this video to my YouTube channel, which is Conversations with Calm Therapy. So please subscribe to my channel and share on social media so you can keep up to date with latest interviews as I post them. So thank you once again, Mel. Lovely.
Thank you, Jane. It was lovely to be here. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.